Hey there, everybody. PTPOP here with All Four Lobes of My Brain. Securely bound behind my back, and welcome back to another episode of Call Center Survivors. Today, I'm going to talk about why you need to keep your mouth shut in the call center. Stay tuned. They're right. You're not a real banker, and you're saying it out loud. Everybody around you from this team was so weak, mentally and emotionally weak. They went, "Oh, I'm not a real banker." Oh.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?
Today's video was inspired and given to me. The idea for it was given to me by one of my subscribers by the name of Jonas DG. Thanks for the idea, Jonas. Let me bring up his comment. He made a comment on my video. My video was corporate Kool-Aid and why some people drink it. And here Jonas says, "You're right. For many people at the call center, it has become part of their identity on which they deludedly pride themselves. I got fired from my last call center job because I disagreed with a coworker who had been at the call center for over 3 years and kept insisting I was a banker, and it was not a call center, but an advice center. She went to my manager to complain because I told her I was just a consultant for the staffing agency and that I didn't get any of the perks bank employees have. According to the manager, I demoralized all the people working through the staffing agency by saying this out loud." And I've got to tell you, Jonas, again, thank you for the idea. This gentleman is completely right. Okay. Now let's back up a little bit. Let's say, for instance, you're new to call centers and you get hired there, and maybe you're 35 years old or something like that, and the people around you are 25 to 35 years old. And you're in training, and everybody in training, they talk. You all talk to each other in training, right? And you try to be buddy and chum and try to find somebody to hang out with. And you think, well, these people are kind of cool. I can hang out with them. I can talk to them. I can, find things in common with them. You talk sports, you talk about the weather, you talk about the latest fashions, whatever it happens to be. Training is one thing, but the call center floor is an entirely different animal. What I wanted to do today is go over the reasons why in a call center you should, at all costs, keep your mouth shut once you get hired and you're on the call center floor as a call center employee. You're out of training and everything else, okay? And now I'm going to give you an example why Jonas's comment struck a chord with me. Years ago, I was working in a call center that took calls from multiple technical agencies. They took calls for Verizon, they took calls for AT&T, they took calls for Apple, and it was kind of a shit show of a call center because you had to know all these different products from different carriers. It was crazy, and your calls weren't. Sometimes you get a call about Apple products, sometimes you get a call about a Verizon service issue, and sometimes you were dedicated to anyway. So it was a very crazy place. So during training, I was sitting next to this guy. I don't remember his name, but let's say his name was Carl. Carl was this really big guy, maybe 6 foot tall. And I kept trying to talk to the guy. He sat right next to me in training. And I'd say, "Hey, Carl, how's it going today?" And he would just go. He wouldn't say anything to me. He wouldn't say a word to me. And I thought, well, he can't be mute because he's got to talk on the phone unless he just grunts or something. I don't know. Sir, can you tell me on my bill? So Carl would not speak to me. So we'd get out on the floor, and I would see him out on the floor, and I'd say, "Hey, Carl, how you doing today?" He'd go. And I started thinking about it, and I had been in several call centers up to this point. And I thought, well, maybe this guy's got something. Maybe he's just keeping his mouth shut because maybe he needs the job so bad he doesn't want to talk to anybody, so he can just come in, do his job, and go to work. And I'll tell you why I think he did this. Okay, when you're working in a call center, you're working in a very strange, toxic environment all the way around, and many of your coworkers aren't the most educated people with the best critical thinking skills. Now, I don't say this to be mean, but at all. I'm not trying to be mean, but many of the people work in call centers. This might be their first job ever. Most of them have never even set foot on a college campus other than to go drink beer and get high and to party. And they're not exactly a classy, polished, well-versed group of people that you can sit around and shoot the breeze about Beethoven's 12th Symphony. You know, these are not educated, classy people. These are some type of derivative between, or some type of conglomeration or a mix of blue collar versus pseudo corporate people. So you're not dealing with intellectuals. You're not dealing with people with a great deal of intellectual skills. And you're not sitting beside professionals, corporate professionals. And I've worked in both. And I know this for a fact. The call center is not a professional environment in any way, shape, or form. You're working in an environment that is more like high school, junior high school and high school attitude and maturity level. These are not mature people. These are people with absolutely no skills, professional skills or decorum whatsoever. And I'll give you an example. I worked at a bank here in Ohio, and the CEO for the bank was coming in for a meeting to come into training class with us. And my supervisor, as I'd said in another video, looked like Shrek's wife, Mrs. Shrek in the Shrek animated cartoon. And we were all supposed to dress up that day because the CEO was coming in for the bank, and he was going to give us a presentation about why we had picked the greatest place to work and the call center was great. It's all about having fun. This woman walks in dressed up. Everyone else is wearing dresses or skirts, and I've got my khakis and my polo shirt on, all that stuff. She comes in like a prom dress. I kid you not. This is a grown woman, like a 40-year-old woman. She must not have had anything else to wear. She was wearing like this long flowing gown with big puffy sleeves. I just looked at her, and in my mind anyway, my jaw dropped. So this woman had absolutely no idea. She either didn't have the clothing to dress professionally, or she thought that was professional. And I'm not even exaggerating. It was a prom dress, or it was some weird like bridesmaid dress from 1980 or something. It was something so fucking weird and twisted. So when I bring these examples up, you're not dealing with the most intellectually stable and sharp people, okay? Like the guy that didn't speak to me at the other call center, he could have at least said hello. He could at least said, hey, hi Pete, nice talking to you, and just walked away. Or he wouldn't even speak. He didn't grunt. He didn't fart. He didn't do it. He just stood there. And it was just a strange thing. And it's a very highly unorthodox environment. And most of the supervisors there are looking for reasons to get rid of you. They're looking for you to screw up. They're immediately watching your actions. They're immediately watching your behaviors. They're immediately listening to you on the phone to see if you actually fit. And if you start talking to people and trying to be friends with them, you're going to start disclosing things about yourself to these individuals that they'd be better off not knowing. Even if it's just what kind of cereal you like, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to anybody about anything other than business. Of course, talk to your customers. When the phone calls start coming into your headset, you got to talk to them. Keep it short and sweet with your coworkers. These are people who have a high school mentality, or looking for things to make fun of you about, looking for things to demoralize you about. They're looking for ways to get you fired, to make your life difficult, make your life miserable. I guarantee it. I put my life on the line for it. It's so true. Your supervisors are dark, maniacal, uneducated, unprofessional people with no professional decorum whatsoever. They wouldn't know how to manage, their own ball sack. These are idiots. These are simpletons that know how to answer phone, give question, give answer to question, answer phone, give question to answer, give answer to question. I can't even say it. My brains are scrambled from working in a call center. That's all people know how to do there. They don't know how to think critically. So if you start to chum around with people and say, hey, did you watch the Browns game, last night? And I've done this out in Arizona. When I live in Arizona, I try to talk sports with people. Everybody in Arizona is from somewhere else. Nobody's from Cleveland out there. I met one person from Cleveland. And everybody else, I hate the Browns. The Browns suck, man. I'm a Chiefs fan, or I'm a 49ers fan. A lot of people came out there from the Midwest and came out from California and stuff. So you're going to, people don't have the ability out there to think, well, he's a Browns fan. That's cool. Let's talk sports. No, I'm a Chiefs fan. The Browns suck. I heard that so many times that the Browns suck. And it's true. The Browns do suck. And they may have a chance to get somewhere this year, but that's a whole nother story. So you're not dealing with people that are looking out for you, that want to be friends with you. A lot of the people that work in call centers that I have seen, there's a lot of nepotism, and there's somebody that already works in the call center, like a supervisor that has a neighbor that has a niece or a nephew or a cousin, and calls them and says, hey, Sally, you want to come work in the call center? And they're like, sure, I'll come work there. And they all know each other, or they already knew each other in high school and stuff, things like that. So if you're walking in cold to a call center, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to anybody. Don't tell anybody your personal life, because they'll use it against you. If you have a certain sexual preference, if you're straight or you're gay or you're transgender, keep it to yourself. Yeah, I'm not against anybody's sexuality, but in this environment, you do not want to disclose anything about your personal life to anyone on the call center floor, because you'll all of a sudden find you're getting written up, you're getting talked to, they're micromanaging you. Just keep to yourself, do your job, and stay in the phones. Don't speak to anyone unless it's work related. Keep it job related. Don't tell anyone any personal details about your life, and definitely don't socialize outside of work. Okay. So if you're younger and you're in a call center and everybody seems real chummy and you don't know anyone, and they come up to you and they say, hey, Pete, you want to go out for beers and wings tonight at BW3's? Say no. Politely say no. I'm sorry, I've got to go home and shave the cat, or I got to, pluck my cactus or something. Come up with some excuse, because what happens is when a couple of people have had beers and, they get kind of loose, they start saying things, and you start saying things, and it turns out they find out that you're into making love to oak trees, and they're like, what? You're a pervert? You like making love to oak trees? Oh my God. Next thing you know, you're in trouble at work because they're spreading rumors about you. No, this will happen in any corporate environment. Any corporate environment, you should never speak about your sexuality or your personal life in a corporate environment. It'll get you nowhere fast. You'll be out the door quick. They'll look for ways to lay you off and get rid of you. So my primary thing is, again, with Jonas, thank you for the idea, is to keep your mouth shut in the call center. Go there to do your job, speak shop, only talk about your work, and keep it to a minimum. Hello, how are you? Thanks. Yeah, I had a nice weekend. Thanks. Good. Hey, I got to get back to work. If you're in the break room, somebody tries to strike up a conversation with you, say, hey, yeah. Oh, well, thanks. Oh, yeah. Oh, my break's almost over. I'm going back to my desk. And you'll be a lot more successful. You'll make your life a lot easier in a call center. The people around you, as Jonas gave in his example, this person obviously took offense to what he has said, and his supervisor didn't have critical thinking skills enough to go, well, the whole team got demoralized. Seriously? That's what this supervisor thought? According to the manager, he says, I demoralize all the people working through the staffing agency by saying this out loud. Well, Jonas, you're right. You're not a real banker. They're right. You're not a real banker. And you saying it out loud, demoralize. I mean, everybody around you from this team was so weak, mentally and emotionally weak. They went, oh, I'm not a real banker. Oh. What? So they got rid of you for that. And I believe it. I mean, I don't think you're exaggerating. This stuff happens. This poor guy spoke his mind. You can't speak your mind. You can't go in there like, hey, I just saw this video by PTPOP and call centers suck. Everyone's going to hear that and go, oh, this guy's bad news. Better get rid of him. Get him out of training. Get him on the floor and start writing him up fast. We'll get him out of here fast. You don't want to talk to anybody. So if you want to save yourself a lot of grief in a call center, and you want to at least try to be successful, keep your mouth shut, go to work, do your job, act like you're enjoying it, and go home at the end of the day. Don't party with people. Don't sit out in the car and smoke a bowl with them. Don't have, go out for a beer and wings, all that stuff. Keep to yourself. Be pleasant, polite, and professional, and go home. and you'll get a lot farther than if you try to chum around with people. Plus, it's really hard to chum around with people because the turnover is so high. So somebody, sitting next to you that you like and you've gotten to know may be gone the next day because they got fired or they walked out and quit. So, well, I hope that helps. I'm PTPOP. I hope you have a good New Year's. Take care. I'll be you soon, baby. See, I can smile like this woman. Have a good day.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?